Okay, so we're at Crypto Talks and Blockchain Walk, day 2, ETH Denver, with the man, the myth, the legend, Austin Griffith.
We're talking and walking. We're walking and talking.
So before we dive into why you're the AI superstar right now, I want to just relay to the fine folks who are watching this that you were part of the first experience that I ever had where I actually used crypto in real life.
Hell yeah.
The Cypherpunk Speakeasy.
Yes, in Boulder.
Yeah,
probably,
no.
Where,
up in Fort Collins.
Up in Fort Collins? You came to that one? Okay, yeah. So before ETH Denver in 2019, we wanted to test the user experience of the burner wallet. So we went to all these bars in different places. I lived in Fort Collins, I live in Fort Collins. So we went to all these bars and handed out slips of paper that were actually private keys that you could scan that took you to a wallet that had money. And then, you use the wallet to pay the bartender for a beer, and you got a beer. And that's how we UX QA'd the burner wallet.
And the image on the burner wallet was super classy too. It was this kind of steampunk 1930s
speakeasy chicks with a non-mask.
Yes,
on, right? Yeah.
I still have that.
It was a great design. I love that.
A fantastic piece of lore.
Yeah.
And so now today, when we talk about the burner wallet, a lot of people have the tappable plastic card.
Yeah.
So you got to see your baby become something beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, the burner is another way to do it.
So, are you still working on burner, or did that just kind of go off onto its own and then you started working on scaffold?
Well, we've made a couple other burner wallets. We made punkwallet.io, which is a burner wallet. But Burner that you're talking about is actually kind of a different company.
Is it really?
Yeah. But I wish I had one. I could pull it up. But yeah, it's another company. They're out of Boulder though, but they make, like you said, a tap burner card. But definitely different products, even though it's the same name, different products.
Yeah, all right. So how many of these ETH Denvers have you been to? Have you been to every single one?
I think maybe if there was one in 2017, I didn't go to it.
The first one?
Yeah, was there one in 2017?
I think it was 2018 was the first one.
I was at the first one in 2018.
Okay, so maybe 2021. That was the COVID year.
Yeah, okay, so no one went to that one, right?
Well, online, right?
Yeah, I remember driving down from the mountains so I could be part of the stream. So I was definitely still on the stream. But yes, I've been to all of them with the star next to it, I guess, of there was some time when we were all at home doing nothing.
I think if you go on CT, which first of all, take with a grain of salt anything you see on CT, you can always find negativity there. But a lot of people are denigrating the ETH Denver experience, mostly from folks who aren't here right now. What is your perspective of the growth of this event and how it's become an initial little Colorado thing to this international location?
Yeah, I mean, the early days in the sports castle were my favorite.
100%.
Most people that were there still long for those days. And then it kind of got too big, and we had lines around the block at the sports castle, and it was too big for the sports castle. And we had hella NFT bros piling in here. And now I think if you look on crypto Twitter right now, all the NFT bros are crying about ETH Denver. But actually the vibes are it's smaller here, but it's actually pretty nice. This is one of the better ETH Denvers in a long time, probably in a few years, because of the size and the price of the coins. But the conversations are great and the folks are great. It's just it's great because 80% of the sponsors aren't paying out, and so it's not a sponsor dog and pony show.
Right.
So it's actually what we want it to be, or what the devs want it to be. Look at this. We're going to walk over into the dev corner in a little bit. This to me is what ETH Denver is all about. Is the developers sitting at the table building things. It's all about the builders for me. So,
let's go this way.
Yeah. There's a lot of there's still, even at the first ETH Denvers, there was the shill zones, but this is what it's all about, is the table full of hackers building things.
I remember ETH Denver 2019 was when we kind of saw the first torrential bottom of ETH, and I also remember thinking like, there's no way that this ecosystem can die because of the people that are here building right now during the worst of the worst. And now we know that that's not the case. This is a thriving ecosystem that's going to continue to grow. As you see here, we have a bunch of people in the background. So what is it like for you today then with onboarding developers? You were just on Onchain, had some gnarly stories about your Claude bot. Are we being replaced by Claude bots, or are people still interested in building in this space? Are you still onboarding new developers?
Yeah, I think there's definitely like this widening archetype actually going from developers to builders. This new archetype of builder doesn't have to deep dive Solidity and understand how to, do some like crazy weird assembly code or something to make something work. This widening archetype of builder is able to have a good idea and then use the skills given to them and the AI to actually build something. So there's like a wider audience of people to convince to come build on Ethereum, and to me that's a good sign. And I think that yes, the AI is getting great at building things, and I'm using like a swarm of agents like a company to build things, and they're shipping stuff on chain. And maybe that kind of sucks for the junior developer out there, but the senior developer can 10x themselves, and the economists and lawyer and random other archetypes of people can now come and build things because they have these good ideas, but they don't have to find a developer and wait 6 months. It's sort of like spin up your AI agents, give it ethskills.com, and ship something in 6 hours.
So I guess as we zoom out and wrap up, we want to keep these short and brief. Back in 2018, 2019, when I first had the pleasure of getting to know you, Colorado had all this hope for becoming a blockchain hub of the US. We still have a lot of developers here, a lot of core Ethereum ecosystem participants, but it felt like we lost a little bit of that. Like we had this potential for a sandbox. And maybe I'm wrong, and if I am wrong, let me know. Do you feel like with ETH Boulder that we just had last weekend, our 9th year of ETH Denver, are we going to become a place, or are we a place that is a magnet for the Ethereum ecosystem and for developers here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what is, right? I feel like a lot of people say New York City, there's a lot of crypto people, Berlin, Lisbon, there are other places. I don't even know what that looks like really though. I think Ethereum is straight up just like a global village, right? It's a lot of different people from a lot of different places doing a lot of different things, and we just happen to come together in these places in the world. We'll be, in France this summer. We'll be in Mumbai for DevCon. I live in a little town, and there's not a lot of Ethereum people around me, but I still have coffee every once in a while with people, and we talk about, the weird shit that agents are doing right now. So even in my small town, there's a few people, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the scene looks like here and how well. I think it's a global thing, right? And so it's really awesome now because all these people from all over the world are here. But yeah, I don't know what an Ethereum meetup looks like in Denver in 2026, but there'd be 8 people there talking how to ship AI agents for sure.
You ran into my buddy Tyler at a coffee shop recently. He said he saw your jacket.
Yeah. So when I was in Delhi, lots of dudes came up to me and took pictures with me. I think a lot of my educational content has made it into India pretty well, but it never happens in Fort Collins, the town that I'm from. and he was I got coffee, and he's like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And I was like, "Are you serious? That's amazing. Can we just hang out and talk for a little bit?" But yeah, that was a funny moment.
Awesome.
But yeah, the thing that I want to be very clear about is AI agents is what everybody here is talking about. They're talking about AI and AI agents. Very few people here are talking about ERC-8004 and x402 and how Agent Bob and Agent Alice can coordinate at light speed on chain. And this is really important. This is what is happening here, and I feel like people are kind of missing the meta a little bit of like what's actually happening. Like AI is the new UI. Blockchain was super hard to use. We had this dream of this long tail of smart contracts getting deployed where Alice could deploy a contract and Bob could trust it and use it and only has to trust the code. But in the long run, Bob the human still needs an auditor and needs like a handful of people to help him trust that contract. Agent Bob doesn't need any of that shit. Like when you get MetaMask popping up and there's that call data and you as a human just like black out, Agent Bob can look at that call data and understand exactly like this is a function selector, it's gonna call this function, here's the contract, here's the source, here's the arguments. I know exactly what's gonna happen in this contract on this transaction and I can run it. And it can do that at light speed, right? So we're gonna have humans expressing their intent to agents and agents carrying out complex behaviors, including hiring other agents, including paying for things and paying for agents. And that's going to happen through this coordination layer of x402 for payments and then 8004 for registration and identity and reputation. Like you go and you look up Google reviews and you look at like where the best place is to eat. Your agent will look up where the best place is to get an image generated or text or 1,000 other things that agents can do, and they'll pay for those like at light speed, and they'll do things like coordinate like what if they can't pay for something, what if they go to 8004 and they want to buy new hardware for themselves and they find that it costs $20,000. So what they do is they go out to a bunch of other agents and they crowdfund build a Mac Studio to get shipped to them, and so all these other agents have to like crowdfund to buy in. So to do that, they would need to deploy a crowdfunding contract, and humans would take forever to trust it, or basically they wouldn't, right?
Right.
Like a bunch of other humans would ape in, and at that point, other humans would trust it. But the agents can all look at the code. The agents can all trust the smart contract. The agents can ape into a crowdfunding contract and order some new hardware for themselves or something like that. So this on-chain layer is this coordination mechanism that we thought humans would use at scale down the long tail, and I think that's harder than we thought it was going to be, but agents will because they can one-shot apps and they can understand and they can trust things just by looking at them at light speed.
I think to wrap it up, in 2017 we were excited about the first billion users using wallets, and in 2026 it's how much of that first billion will actually be agents.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for your time, dude.
Thank you. See you later.